While the world was bailing out banks, one small country took a different path. They imprisoned the bankers. In 2008, a small nation in the North Atlantic watched its entire banking system collapse, debts reaching more than 10 times its GDP. Few believed anything could save it. But what happened after the disaster was something no other country dared to attempt. They didn't ask for help, they jailed the bankers, and they changed the rules forever. If you think you've seen financial collapse stories before, wait until you hear the hidden secret of Iceland. Stay with me until the end, because what this country did might change the way you see money, power, and the global system.
Before the crash, Iceland seemed untouchable. With fewer than 350,000 people, its banks had become international giants, lending astronomical amounts, buying foreign companies, taking unimaginable risks. Icelandic banks had grown so large that their assets reached 10 times the size of the entire national economy. But behind the shine, there was fragility, loans that pushed risks into the future, market manipulations hidden in complex contracts, and a financial culture built on one belief: the next step was always higher. When the rest of the world shook, Iceland stood alone until the ground opened beneath it. In October 2008, the first signs of collapse appeared. Iceland's three major banks, Kaupthing, Glitnir, and Landsbanki, owed debts many times greater than the nation's entire GDP.
The Icelandic government stepped in, but not to bail out the banks like everyone else. They allowed them to fail and made it clear the bankers would pay the price. Imagine that, a nation refusing to follow the global playbook of saving the powerful, becoming a risky and bold experiment. This was a moment few countries dared to face. While in most places, banks failed and their executives walked free, in Iceland, the bankers went to prison. Examples: Heiðar Már Sigurdsson, former CEO of Kaupthing, sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. Another, Sigurdur Einarsson, chairman of Kaupthing, sentenced to 4 years. In total, over 30 bankers were convicted, serving a combined 88 years in prison. The message was clear. Here, the powerful don't get saved, they get held accountable.
But the story doesn't end with the arrests. Iceland made decisions that defied convention. The government nationalized the major banks and protected domestic deposits, but let foreign debts go. The economy began to recover quickly. Within just a few years, the country was back on track, growing stronger than anyone expected. And perhaps the most radical lesson of all, Iceland freed itself to rewrite the rules. No more inflated currency, no more broken systems, no more untouchable bankers. Here, the people and the state awakened to the real power of their own economy. And if you think victory simply means growth, think again. This was a silent triumph, a reminder that power can be redistributed. What most narratives ignore is why Iceland succeeded when others failed. Here's the secret: size and scale. A smaller nation means a smaller system and a smaller risk of total collapse. While the rest of the world kept obeying financial giants, Iceland did the unthinkable. It said no.
Instead of saving bankers, they chose to save their country. It was an act of courage and of justice. For the first time in decades, men in suits, once untouchable, were tried and punished, and that changed everything. From that point on, the nation entered a new era, new rules, new regulators, a new mindset, an economy rebuilt not on fear, but on transparency and responsibility. This combination formed an invisible vault of wealth, rebuilt not on debt or speculation, but on trust, accountability, and local strength. And the question remains, what if this method were applied elsewhere? What if the global system realized there was another way? You're about to see why this case might become a blueprint for the future. And in the end, what does this story really teach us? First, that the biggest systems, the ones that seem unbreakable, can fall. And when they do, it's almost never the powerful who pay the price, but ordinary people. Second, that holding those at the top accountable isn't revenge, it's justice. Iceland showed the world that power isn't about size, it's about courage. And sometimes, the deepest transformations are born from simple but firm decisions, because true wealth may be hidden where no one else dares to look. Think about that the next time you hear someone say, "It's impossible to change the system." Iceland proved otherwise. Iceland went bankrupt, jailed the bankers, beat the system, not because it was stronger, but because it chose to be different.
If you want to see more stories like this, of nations that hid treasures, broke the rules, and changed their destinies, subscribe to Vault Atlas, turn on notifications, and comment below. Which country do you think will be next to challenge the system? See you in the next episode.